Hello, dear viewers. Welcome to a new episode of Expert Talk, organized by volunteers of the Creative Society Project. Today, you will hear experts on their field answering critical questions. We want to be able to raise awareness regarding the situation of our society in different fields and different areas, and being able to have an understanding of what is it really not working in that field in the current society that we have. But more than just hearing about the problems, we want to be able to find solution, trying to understand what could be the solutions to improve this state of affair that we have in our society in specific fields. And finally, what people can actually do already themselves towards bringing brighter future to our society. So all of this will be discussed today with two of our guests that Valerie is going to present.
So today, I'm so glad and happy to present our amazing and honorable experts who are Liene, Greifane, film and TV director, as well as a director of film and music festivals. And another our honorable expert is Rohit Khaitan, filmmaker from India. So glad to see you, dear Liene and dear Rohit.
Привет всем. Я очень рада быть
Hi everyone. I'm very happy to be with you. I think it's going to be an interesting conversation.
We have amazing experts who can give us I would say the inside information, right? Like, how do you see that, right? What's going on inside it? What problems do you see there? What's wrong with it? Do we have any kind of points we need to change, right?
Да, еще раз привет.
And hello everyone. Actually, cinema is of course a very complicated production machine, and of course, since the beginning of cinema, it has been a tool to communicate with different people, telling of different situations, and of course it's also such a political tool when very big issues may not be allowed on the big screen because it can be quite a sensitive subject that can have an adverse effect on people. So I think, in fact, one of the biggest problems in cinema is that we focus too much attention on blockbusters, on very simple topics, and deeper problems like child abuse, which I also write scripts about. It is not displayed in any way. It is displayed, but only, for example, in French American cinema. It is very hard to get to the big screen with this topic, to win in pitching in general, because everyone is afraid of being unpleasant topics. Everyone wants more fun, entertaining program or something that is profitable to hear and tell people about. The understandable goals of powerful people and powerful companies. Very important topics just get missed. Or it's impossible to get funding for this movie to really get anywhere. I think this is one of the biggest problems.
In our society, if we want to make some movie, right, we need to have the financial support, right? The points you mentioned right now about that it's kind of even political things and some organizations. From my perspective, it's a huge problem because, I talk to people and people say, yeah, this is what I want to see. But when you go and you present this idea to, I don't know, to some sponsor or who can help you, to implement this. And no, like we're gonna do another way because we need this and that. So basically I cannot do what I want. I mean, like you said, in a big level, right? Yeah. And thank you so much for that. I would like to pass the floor to Rohit. Can you share what's going on from your perspective?
Yeah, so I think the problem is universal. It's not just about India or specific Russia or any other country. I think we as a society need to be more receptive and open to new ideas, new concepts, and be more free. We should be open to listening to new voices, new talents. Oftentimes it happens that we get carried away with big names like big stars, big directors, big banners. But I think these are old concepts. We need to go beyond that, and we need to be receptive and open to newer ideas, newer thoughts, newer talents, and we need to listen to their ideas and read their script and their stories before being judgmental and to make a decision. I think we should first read what they have written, what they have to say, and then make up our mind. And if they are not big brands or if they are not established directors or writers, we should facilitate them by pooling talents, by bringing people together on a common platform, so that our objective should be to make good stories, good content, not just backing big names, big stars, and big directors, all of that. At the end of the day, our focus should be to create good content and good stories that can change the society, because cinema has a very big impact on the society, how it thinks. So I think we need to be open and receptive to newer ideas and back them.
That's very true. I think something that we can see in the movie industry is some kind of a lack of maybe taking risk. People want to stay in their comfort zone and make sure that if they do a movie, they will have the audience that will be going to watch the movie. So basically, the movie is made for an audience to without any risk not to have a success. And I think that's really the wrong way to look at it. A director should have the opportunity to create that audience through a very great idea that hasn't been seen before, and not trying to do a movie that they will be sure will be working. There should be a little bit of risk, and usually great things are coming out of staying outside of your comfort zone. And that's exactly what the industry right now of movie seems not to do. I can see so many movies, the number 1, 2, and 3, and all of those are made almost just for fans and to make sure that when people are watching the movie, they are emotionally triggered, but not very getting a quality content, simply because there is something that they watched in the past and they can see it again and again and again, and they can make the connection. But that's not exactly what we want as I would say, as a society. We want people to be able to be free, to be able to try new ideas, to surprise people, to surprise their audience, to create new genre. Just any other things that you would like to mention regarding problems. How do you see the evolution of making movies from a big studio with a lot of money before, and now basically everybody can make a movie? So is that something? Do you see problems also into this sphere?
Yeah, actually, I completely agree with what you are saying. I think that young filmmakers, of course, need to first shoot a couple of short films in different or one direction where they feel strong. Show what they can do, show their inner world, let's say the picture they see. Because without some specific work, without past work, it's very hard and almost impossible to get a big budget and the ability to work on a big movie that's being promoted for big money by huge film companies. So, of course, if the director is very talented, and in his previous works he has clearly demonstrated his point of view, his style of filmmaking, and let's say his own kind of interesting handwriting that would be interesting to big movie companies, then it's possible. But in reality, it is very difficult. And a huge number of super talented directors simply can't show it to anyone because there are no director contests on such global topics. Because film companies, when they receive a good script themselves, understand that this particular film will be directed by a super famous director because we know that he is sure to be able to handle it. First of all, he already has an established image, an established name in this field, so to hit that first bar and become a big movie director is very hard, very hard. So I don't even know, but I think it would be good if there were an opportunity for young directors to present their work in pitching with 2 or 3 short films, maybe in such a way they could defend their candidacy as a major director or at least a second director. That would be great.
I agree that we need to give a chance to new young filmmakers because otherwise we're kind of going to see same things in our society. But we are all unique. In our planet, almost 8 billions of people. And what I mean by this, that, we can have the filmmakers from different countries, right? And they see and hear their ideas, their styles, what they want to show. Because I feel like the movies is the same as a media. It's so much affect our society, so much. Because what we see, we see the examples, and this is how even the physical things are working. If the stars are showing, how cool are they, and I don't know, the kind of violence, or they're doing wrong things, but we show it on the screen. Kids are watching it, right? And then it's kind of reflecting, right?
Yeah,
in fact, what I want to say is that one of the points of change in world cinema was in 2020 when the Korean film Parasites won the Oscar, and it interrupted a 22-year history where the top prize for Best Picture Oscar was always won by a Hollywood film. And it was the first year in 92 years when the top prize went to a director from a completely different film company, a group of people who had created a really intense and interesting picture like that. And that, of course, gives us hope that some changes are taking place. And in fact, if we look at film festivals, the Cannes Film Festival is one of those that supports new directors, very daring, sometimes very explicit, sometimes very unpleasant, let's say, topics. But it breaks the system, and that's great to see it because we need it. We need more choices, as every person has the right to choose. However, not everyone knows what films festivals, film forums, platforms in general can suggest alternative, completely different films, different stories. because there is a particular content of popular cinema that is always being advertised. And in fact, there are so many interesting good directors and films made by them, but they simply cannot be found on these social networks, and nobody talks about them. Therefore, as a festival director, I watch a lot of fresh released movies, and sometimes I'm surprised that I have never heard of a director or their work before, since such talents really don't know how to present themselves and don't know what to do with their films. In other words, if one festival doesn't accept them, they capitulate and that's it. Well, one didn't accept it, the second didn't accept it, the third didn't accept it, and you bury your talent, your confidence, your views. Of course, I think that the more platforms like Netflix and so on will give different people in various directions the opportunity to show themselves, it will be really great.
Thank you very much. But actually, we have these platforms where the young director can show themselves, express themselves, but anyway, it's still challenge to, to come to this platform. And I want to address to dear Rohit, for you, it's very interesting about the goals of movies, right? Why I address this question to you, because we know that you're making movies, documentary movies about the refugees, about the people, right? Maybe you can share why do you do this? Did you meet any challenges?
So one, documentary films are different, and when you take something from real life, like a real story, and make it into a very realistic movie, so it's fiction, but it is still a very realistic styled movie. So I am talking more about the realistically made film, which relates to the common people, which is very true to the realism, instead of going completely into a dreamy kind of a world, which is a complete fictional world which you may or may not believe into. So I think the audience are appreciating and liking the realistic films based on real issues, real topic. The only problem is there are few myths which is created by the trade. The myth is one, how much business one film has done. So when a movie releases in India in cinemas, somehow the audience gives into believing that if a movie is doing very good business, say $1 million tickets have been sold, then they want to go and see the film. So I think this habit needs to change, because you do not need to make your decision basis how much business a film is doing. You need to read about the story of the film and see whether you would want to see a story which is something which is what a film is about. Instead of making your decision completely basis the amount of business a film is doing. A film can be completely crappy, it can be a complete escapist film, but maybe good for somebody else and not for you, for your flavor. But you just get carried away in the flow that, oh, this movie is doing very well. So business is not audience prerogative. They should decide basis the story whether they want to go and see the film, and business is up to the trade to decide. So many times it happens that people leave news articles, that fake news articles, that this movie has done huge business, and everybody starts going and watching that film. And in that process, that stupid film becomes a very good film, like a successful film, because you are made to believe that the movie is doing very good business at the box office. But in reality, the movie has done any business. But in this wrong belief, a lot of audience start going to the cinema, and that helps the film to do good, and that becomes a trend. Yeah, so this is how the system works. It's like stock market. I'll say that this movie is doing very well, good business, but business is not none of audience thing. They should decide whether they like the trailer of the film, they like the story of the film, whether they want to go and see the film for their own reasons, not for the business reasons. So the reason is wrong. Because the movie is doing very well in cinemas, I should also go and see it. Oh, what will people think that I haven't seen that film? I will look like a stupid person, if four people are talking about a movie and I haven't seen that movie. So I think this psychological thing, we need to deal with.
That's incredible what you said, because this is, voice it. And I understood. I feel like for nowadays we have so many possibilities if we, kind of unite our efforts, filmmakers, the actors, whatever, the experts in this field, and we share the ideas. We can promote it by ourselves, when we are united. We have, for example, strong community around the world, right? And then bring this sense movie, the movie which have a goal, and at least people will know about it and have these options, have this, choice, right?
Да, мне кажется, что на самом деле,
Yes, I think actually,
хорошему фильму
if a good
непопулярной
movie
темой
with an unpopular
вложения
topic
в маркетинг
had
были бы
a corresponding
соответствующие с
investment
блокбастером,
in marketing
тогда,
with a
конечно,
blockbuster,
также
then of
люди
course
приходили бы и смотрели,
people
и на
would
самом
also
деле
come and
это было
watch,
бы намного
and it would
полезнее,
actually
потому
be a
что
lot more
та
useful
информация,
because the kind
которая
of information that is
проговаривается,
brought
те же
up,
самые
the same
какие-то
tough topics
жесткие,
like
скажем так, темы, как насилие детей,
child
да, то
abuse,
есть чем больше людей
the
бы
more people
увидели,
would see
что происходит,
what's going
что
on,
вот так вообще в мире
the
это
more
очень популярно
people would realize
между разными расами и разными там странами,
what's going on
городами,
between people of different
многие
races and
просто не верят, что
cities.
реально это проблема, да, потому что
And a
как бы
lot of people
все
just don't
привыкли, что
believe that
про
it's
такие
really a
темы либо не
problem
говорят,
because everyone
либо
is used to
скрываются
not talking about
внутри
such
семьи,
topics
да,
or it's
то есть как
hidden
бы,
within the
но
family.
любая тема,
But there are
там,
topics
война, не война и так
such
далее,
as
да, то есть
war
как
and
бы
so
какие-то
on,
вот непопулярные темы,
which are
которые
unpopular
закрыты
and
от
closed
общественности
to the
с
public
маркетингом
with
таким же,
marketing
как
and the same as an
блокбастеров,
investment as
вложением,
blockbusters,
также получила бы огромные кассы. И
it
люди
would
бы
also get
ходили,
huge box
посмотрели,
office
может
and
быть, да,
people would
было бы очень
go and
много
see it.
там
Maybe yes, there
негатива,
would be a lot of
скажем так, люди
negativity.
были бы в
Let's just say
шоке, да,
people
там
would be
писали,
in
господи, почему
shock,
я это
writing, oh
посмотрела?
my.
Общество быть более как бы
But it's much more
понимающим, более
important
зрячим на такие
for
проблемы, нежели
society
чем просто как
to
бы
be
притворяться,
more
что ничего из
understanding
этого
and
не
more.
происходит в мире. Это то же самое, что чем вы занимаетесь, да, как бы открывать глаза людям на то, что происходит в мире, с экологией, со всем вообще в принципе, да, как бы люди не верят, не хотят, как бы пытаются быть глухими и незрячими, да, но на самом деле вот спасибо вот вам, которые занимаются таким благим делом, что просто говорят людям правду, и хотя эта правда очень жестока и неприятна, и также в кино должно быть правда, и разные темы должны быть обговорены, рассказаны крупному количеству людей. Поэтому я думаю, что все на самом деле в деньгах.
To a big, I think that everything is about the money. Money is the most important because if you have money, the person, even without a huge company, can shoot a big movie, can buy places in the cinemas and advertise his movie. But if you don't have this kind of people and this huge company who agree, risk it on with some unpopular topic, that's it. You are nowhere. You can just stay, talk with people in Zoom about what bother you, and just hope that maybe people will collect some money to shoot an important movie like this.
Thank you so much. And here I wanted to mention it's amazing that you said actually about the conference and all the forums which are doing the Creative Society project, and that's true that the people, this just ordinary people, independent volunteers who don't have any financial support. I mean, our financial support from our pockets, that's it, and our time, because it's kind of people who already become aware and see the reality, and they cannot be silent anymore about it. It's the idea of changing the format of society. And as you mentioned, you said, if we talk about the movie, right, specific field, you said it's all about money. Well, if you have money, you can do it. If you don't have money, you cannot do it. This is exactly the consumeristic format of society. And this is the question. Do we want to live like this? Would you like to share other ideas how the sphere should look like so that our society will benefit? Whole society will benefit.
Ну, что я могу сказать? На самом деле,
what I can actually am following a little bit on what you said about young directors who cannot get on social media with their ideas because they have to work. It is a different thing altogether. In fact, to every professional, and I think you agree with me, when you don't use your gift, your mission, the knowledge you've gained, you get dumped in that field. I mean, you have to practice it all the time, gain some new skills, some new information. You have to monitor it all the time. And when you're unable to do so, you simply lose your grip, your skills, especially in filmmaking. Site planning, directing the script, working with a team. There are some basic, very important skills in directing that have to be very quick. When you work with a team, with the same team for one film, then another, or for example a festival, you get along very well. And when a super talented director
все время нужно этим заниматься, это нужно навыки какие-то, какая-то новая информация, ты все время должен это мониторить.
That we can change, we can think about it. Since we have such a big community of people who are already orienting their eyes to different topics and different problems in the world, maybe we should create our own crowdfunding site where those people who belong to this community can present their ideas, their scripts, their synopsis, and people from our particular community who will be interested could support them. There are some people who are very rich, for example, and would like to help, but they don't know how to help, how it's possible. Basically, people who don't understand or don't know the world of filmmaking, they don't know that their crowdfunding, where young filmmakers tries to raise some funds for their film. And not everybody has the ability, for example, to translate into different languages. For example, I can write in Russian, but I can't write it so that I can present it in English or in some other language for people from different countries. And then those people would get involved, as we do here at the meeting, who do translations. Those people who are interested in helping a particular person. And thus, indeed, I see that there can be a change. No longer will we be with our hands tied and forced to go and present our idea or our script to the big film companies who may not read the message and other emails, though. And most likely these ideas and scripts do not reach the right person at all, because everywhere there is money, money, money. Whoever pays, that's who gets presented. That is to say, his folder is up on top. So, in our society, money must not decide everything, and I think that would be very cool. This idea occurred to me now, while just listening to all the conclusions. Why not? I think that would be very cool. Rohit?
Yeah, as she was talking about crowdfunding, I quite agree with the idea that crowdfunding is one uh, thing through which we can help independent voices, the newer talents. As an aside, also when the movies like the independent or a smaller films comes out in cinemas, I think the timing, the programming of such movie is very odd. Is the shows are at very inconvenient timings, and the audience tend to not go for movies which are early in the morning, scheduled in the morning time. I think the audience also need to feel responsible a bit and come out of their comfort zone and come and watch good films just because they're not big films by big known directors, famous directors, or big banners. I think they also need to come out at inconvenient timings and give those movies a chance. Because if those movies do well, is when more and more newer talent will get opportunity to make more films. And yeah, as an aside, I think crowdfunding is a very good resource to raise money, finance for newer subject, for newer talents, and all that. So yeah, I totally agree with that viewpoint. The distributors, the content distributor, need to be more responsible because, as you said earlier, Jonathan, that taking no risk is the biggest risk. So we need to take responsible risks, in coming in supporting good subject, good content, and good stories. And we need to take risk in this business because creative business is risky. You cannot say that because it's not a mass production business, you're not producing the same thing over and over again. Every new film is a different story, different product. So, as a matter of fact, we need to take risk. So, taking the risk with the best intent, I think, is the most responsible thing to do. So, yeah, these are my ideas.
Great, thank you for your answer to this question, and I think you are spot on regarding the idea of taking risks, regarding the idea of doing things differently. But I like also the way that you mentioned the audience as well, and the way they have to act also differently, and maybe also taking risk, buying a ticket for a movie that they would not just necessarily go usually, but because everybody's going to see it. Maybe it's actually because nobody's going to see it, then I want to see it and see this independent movie or something like this. At the end, we talked about the consumerism format of society in which we are. And the movie industry fits very well, as of today, into this consumerism format of society. When you think about it, business, it's all about a demand and an offer. The more there is demand, the more there will be offer. The more people demands those kind of movies, blockbusters with no means, but just because they keep on going to watch them, the studio will keep on doing them. There is no reason why they will stop from one day to another, stop making those movies that bring them money, because a lot of people are going to see them. So I think it's important to look at this industry also from the perspective and the influence of the viewers, that they can influence the entire business, the entire industry, by shifting their attention into not movie can be seen as a way to escape reality. You maybe have a tough day, you maybe have a tough week or tough life in general, and then you just escape from movies and you want to be somebody else. You want to feel like a superhero, and that's your way to escaping. And that's why you want to put your attention into it. But at the end, I think, as we mentioned, the power of attention into good things will create good things. So if we can have more people thinking about, rather than just escaping into a world of madness, but in this world, I would be the superhero and saving the world. Why don't I just put myself into this world that actually can potentially be created about love, unity, and making people working together? So I think it's important that even the viewers understand that their choice, the freedom of choice, is very important. If you just keep on watching blockbuster, you basically don't make any choice. You're just following the crowd and just keep on doing like everybody else is doing. So let's remember that we have this freedom of choice to do what we want and our individuality. Thank you very much once again for both of your insight on this idea of we can change something. It's not just waiting for the movie industry to change. Us as the viewers, we can make this change. We have the power. We are the one actually paying for all of this. So that's very important that we keep this in mind. And it's about changing us yourself if we want to change society.
Yeah, and also wanted to add while you were speaking, I just imagine myself, okay, if I'm a young director, filmmaker, okay, how do I feel when the consumeristic format of society, I need money, I have ideas, and it's so, the big pressure, right? I don't feel comfortable. I'm thinking about this movie. I want to promote my idea, but I'm thinking, like you said, as a business, because if I put some money, I need to get back. Then if not, I'm not successful, or you know what I mean? So this is a consumeristic way of society. Let's think about how can it be in a creative society. If you have a basic income, right? You don't feel you are, have to rush and so on and so forth. If you have the financial support, which doesn't ask you to give back, just do what you feel. It's amazing. And society will support because it's a meaningful thing. It's, something like this. And in this case, I feel so much freedom. I feel like I can create, I feel like I want to do this. I want to do this so much. And just to talk to the viewers also, I want to say and mention that we'll be more than happy to see the experts from different fields in our society, to see this and hear this inside information, because we as a society, people, we don't know many things about it because we are not in this field, right? And to communicate and start to see the problems and share ideas how to solve. This is the start point where we, start acting towards changes. And dear Liene, dear Rohit, I'm so glad to hear and see you today. It's amazing, inspirational conversation. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for coming.
I want to say thank you for this conversation. I think we've touched on some really important topics. Of course, there's a lot of more to talk about, but I don't think this is the first or last time we are meeting and discussing it. But it's a kind of start. Maybe change our thinking and see what we can do together and how we can help not only filmmakers, also musicians and so on and so forth, how to convey this idea and to talk more correctly about really important topics. I just want to say thank you that you don't forget about us and will solve all these problems together.
It was a pleasure to exchange ideas with all of you and share the insights. It's always great to exchange and share what you know and also learn from other people what they have to share. So I think it's a great platform for everybody to learn and to get awareness and to act after getting awareness. We also need to act on it. So yeah, it was great sharing the ideas and learning the insights from all of you.
Great. Thank you very much for both of you, and to be actually true heroes, because what we've been talking today, it's not some knowledge that is commonly discussed. I mean, when we talked about those kind of problems, it's almost some kind of an hidden truth. But here we're really here to tell that truth, so people very understand and comprehend their surrounding, their society, and understand the way they can actually change it. That's exactly that we are here for. And once again, thank you very much to supporting us on this activity that we are in all together. So if all the viewers also would like to join us, you can send us an email at info@ creativesociety.com. Just tell us what is your expert field, or even though if you're maybe not necessarily an expert, but you have something to say, just let us know, and we'll make sure that we can maybe have you on one of those episodes discussion to be able to raise that information, that knowledge that you have to as many people as we can.